Hi, it's Poshe, and you are welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here. So I talk about all things parenting, education, life, and I like talking to women as well. But you can be a man and be here. Welcome to my channel. So, what am I talking about today? Today I'm just ministering. I'm going to be Pastor Poshe today. I am ministering to myself. You see, when I'm on my channel, or when I do these videos, or when I go out and talk to people, it's actually therapy for me first before it is therapy for anybody else or some kind of solution for anybody else. So it's always me. So today I've had a bit of a day, a funny day. I've been to church, or two churches today, or three churches actually, because I started online. I started online at the Elevation Church. Mr. Lake Elder was there. I put my phone on and I noticed that he was there. So I joined. He was talking some business talk and I like that kind of stuff. So he was talking and my friend had invited me to her church and I was on my way there. And I got there and she told me to get there at a particular time and I did. And guess what? There was so much traffic and I was thinking, this church, there's got to be a way. I'm not even used to that kind of stuff. I'm very, I like the soft life. So my own church really is just in the estate in which I live, and I go there. There's an entrance where everybody's there, and they're just like everybody likes using that entrance. So I use another back entrance that is very quiet. Sit at the back, go in and go out. When I go there, saw the traffic. Okay. I decided to be patient anyway. I called her, and guess what? She was still at home, and she lives like miles and miles away, and I know there'll be traffic in that Lekki side for her to even get here. So I was like, forget it. I was still in the queue. Okay, I'll wait at the car park and wait for her. Got there. Oh, car park is full. The driver should drop me here and go and park somewhere. And I thought, I can't come out. I don't even know where I'm going. I don't understand the layout of the church. And if I get into the church and I sit somewhere, she'll be somewhere else. We're supposed to sit together. Whilst it might not matter to somebody else, it does matter to people like me because it's not my first time in the church. But actually, it's my first time. It's not my first time in the church, but it's my first time in their building, and it's also my first time on a Sunday. So I'm not used to that because I know I think I've ministered in that church before. Anyway, I got there and when they started all the blah 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 and do this, do that, I just said, you know what, just let's go. So I left, went back to my estate, and then went to my own church, which is Guiding Light Assembly, and we had the service. And guess what? This young pastor preached, Damilola Emmanuel, and he did talk about shining our light, which is what I like to do. But what stood out for me was when he started talking about clarity, and they prayed for people that needed clarity, because I'm at a point where I need clarity about things that have been troubling me. For those that follow me online, they would know that I've been grieving of late. So I came out for that prayer. I don't tend to come out for prayers, but I came out. In fact, if you look at my eyelash, I think you see one white little. Can you see that whiteness here? It was even bigger than that. I didn't realize that when I used the tissue to dab my tears, that one big lump of tissue had cut off. Because I know that a friend of mine and the parents in the school was like, "Oh, your eyelash." I was like, "Oh, it might be glue," but no, not knowing what one big lump. When I got home, I saw it. I was like, "What?" And then I picked it out so that it doesn't really disturb my video. So, I'm home, and my friend called me later when service had even started. She started preaching in my church. I just let her know that I'd already left, so I'm sure I might see her later. But what am I saying today? What I'm saying today is hang in there, whatever the issue is. And I'm talking to myself first, remember. So it's like, Ronke, hang in there, no matter what the issue is. I've had like booze, like it's been such a challenging period of my life, but in all of it, I'm telling you, there's no way that I don't know that God has a hand in ensuring that I sail through at this time, and He's been my peace in the storm. There are times where I should be angry, I should be sad, I should, but somehow He just sees me through, and He always provides what I need per time. So you need to understand that God will give you what you need per time. He's not going to leave you to the dogs. Just keep on trusting Him, as no matter how tough it seems. Some days will be tougher than others. Late last night, it just seemed a bit, what's going on here? I wasn't too sure what was going on. I was thinking, oh gosh, I just had all these emotions. One day I'll tell you what the challenge is or was at that time. But it just looks kind of like hopeless sometimes. Sometimes you're like, everything's going to be all right. You're really optimistic. And then sometimes you just think, oh, what's going on here? So, whatever your challenge is, make sure that you don't believe that it's going to ruin the rest of your life, no matter how tough it is, if it's financial, if it's your health, if it's just anything that you're battling with or you've lost. And even if it's your children, always remember that there's a circle of life, you know, where you talk about your health, your career, your spiritual life, your relationships, just different things, different aspects of your life. So just think about it as a circle. So if you think I'm trying to look at something that I can use for a circle, one of my pupils gave me this when they traveled to Paris. So this is fair, but this is, if you just imagine that it's a circle, and in this cut it into like pieces. Yeah. So you have health, fitness, spiritual life, relationships, career, just divide it all up. And then you'd realize that one part of it is what is troubling you, maybe health. As a result, you think every other thing is not working because you're focusing just on the health. If it's your marriage or relationship, or maybe your parenting that is not working, and that child is giving you a headache, you would focus so much on that segment, just like you have an orange, you have segments, you focus on that one. Whereas all the other segments are working, but you focus on that one segment thinking that everything else is not working. But that's not true. It's just that aspect that needs to be fixed, it needs to be worked on. And I can remember yesterday when I was listening to Apostle Selman that I stumbled on when I was trying to find out about another kind of like notorious pastor that online, and then I found this guy called Apostle Selman in Abuja, and I started to listen to his sermons, and he was talking about year end, and he was still talking about different aspects of our life and having a retreat for about 2 days and just focusing on what has worked well, what has not worked well, and those things that haven't worked well, you need to really find out why. And I'm going to add that even the things that have worked well, what have you done that caused it to work out well? Because you want to repeat those things again. Now, if you have a business, if you're in a school, for example, and it's a time where you're being challenged, say, for example, many businesses are being hit at the moment. Diesel alone in this part of the world is such a challenge for many people. We've moved to solar, thankfully. This was way before the exchange rate moved to what it is now. I can't even begin to imagine how much it's going to be sold for, because even when we bought it, it was quite steep, but it's kind of like a blessing, because right now there's actually no power supply. The power supply we have is from the solar, so that's enough to thank God for. So if you're going through a hard time at this time, what people will say, in all of it, ayokbewa, meaning that whatever is going on, you will still have room to praise God, to thank Him for one thing or the other in your life. Something is working, and things could actually be worse than they are already. So pray for those who hurt you, and continue to believe that God is going to deliver you. He's going to send you what you need per time at this time. And He also said that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but remember that He said that He will deliver you from every one of those afflictions. So there will be troubles, there will be storms, things are going to go bad. But no matter how ugly they are, as long as you're a child of God and you know that you're doing your best and your heart is, He says He wants a broken and a contrite heart. And if you have that, He's just preparing you for another chapter of your life. I call mine chapter 2. And I can't wait to see what God is going to do with chapter 2, the next phase. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm going to have to start again. No, it's not starting again. Even if it's, let's say, a job that you lost, you just think about it, that job has done its time in your life. It's time to get another job or start another business, and then you're not starting again, you're just beginning a new chapter of your life. A new chapter has just been opened. So we must not always think that when things go wrong or when things die in our life, that is the end. It's not the end. It's just the beginning of a fresh new chapter. So be optimistic. That's what I want to encourage you. That's what I want to tell myself today, that okay, even though I've been telling myself honestly for how long now? Almost 2 months, since September 11th, when I officially got this, when I officially had this loss that I've been grieving about. I have just said to myself, chapter 2. Like I remember speaking to God last night and I slept off. I was actually just talking to him, and when people pray though, Father and Lord, no, I was saying, what do you want me to, I was having a conversation with God, and I believe that we should be able to have conversations with God at all times so that he can help us and see us through. Just talk to him. Just imagine he's sitting down just beside you in a chair. You can even put a chair there and just imagine that God is sitting down and you're just saying to God, what do you want me to do next? What is it going to be like? Even though they call him an unquestionable God, there are instances where people have asked questions. Call it a rhetorical question, but he wants to know the desires of your heart. He wants to know the troubles of your heart. So even if you don't get an answer to that question, he's going to bring clarity and with time. And you have to trust him, because if you know everything, then you don't have faith in him. So take one day at a time. When you're overwhelmed, take one day at a time. If you're going through any kind of grief, maybe lost a part of your body, lost a child, lost a relationship, lost anything like that, you're going to go through different cycles. You're going to go the cycle of denial, not believing it, confusion can happen, negotiation, bargaining, thinking, oh, if I do this or if I do that, you're going to have a time where you're going to even question yourself and even blame yourself. You might even have a time where you might feel ashamed that things are happening. And then you can even have a time where you begin to reflect. And I encourage people to journal when they're struggling. Journal, because you're going to look back and have a lot of things to thank God for. I looked back at my journal from 2013 and I saw some of the notes I wrote in 2018, and it gave me a lot of clarity about some of the things that I'm going through at this most difficult time in my life. So journal, write things down, because you're going to look back. You're going to be your testimony. It's going to give you clarity about things that you don't understand. It's going to help you know how long and how far God has brought you. And then you begin to accept that this is the situation, and you pray that God will give you the serenity and the grace to accept the things that you cannot change. When you can't change it, let God give you the grace to accept it. And when you can change it, that God gives you the grace also to be able to make a difference, to change the thing. And then you know the difference between things that you can change and things that you cannot change, and the wisdom that you to know the difference. So this is an old quote that I'm trying to explain here, that I'm sure many of us know. God give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and change the things that I can, and give me the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And I pray that the Lord will give you the grace to know the difference between the two. Sometimes things are tough, very, very tough. Dollar rate is mad. Oh, pound sterling is even madder. Oh, can we change that right now? No, but we can do something about. We can't change that, but we can accept that and then make other decisions around our businesses or our family life or all those sort of things. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, so maybe you've lost a partner, or your child ran away from home, maybe your adult child ran away from home who hasn't called you in a long time. Make the most of what you can. Yes, they'll be on your mind. Yes, you'll be troubled. Maybe if it's your business, for example, that is struggling, whatever it is that you can do to change the situation, change it. If you've lost customers, you may not be able to bring those ones back. If, for example, many schools, they've lost a lot of people or pupils or students to the Jagba, people relocating. You may not be able to change that, but you can begin to work on strategies to get people into the school again. You might begin to work on your marketing tips, digital marketing, and all those sort of things. So whatever it is you can do it. Occupy your mind, because the battle starts in your mind. The battlefield is actually in your mind. So do your best to eliminate any negative thoughts. Use affirmations, write things down, speak life into your life, so that and then engage yourself. It could be, I started coloring. I even took it to church today. Let me show you. I didn't use it in church, but if my mind wants to wander, I use it to stem it back. If I need some inner peace and calm, so I have this book. This one is the little book of coloring in bloom. This one is Peace in My Pocket. Peace in my pocket. Can you see it? Can you see it a bit? Peace in my pocket. Yeah. And inside of it this is what I started last night. Started this last night, coloring. I've not done a lot about it yet, but then this is something that I've done, and it has quotes on every other page that inspire me. This one says, how you view the world will determine what you find. If you look for positivity, you will not be disappointed. Another one says, open doors, don't wait for them to open. Climb over obstacles, don't wait for them to move. So you just have like a template. There's another one that I've done. I've not finished this one. You can see. This one that I've done as well, flowers and flowers. This is another one that I've done. So I love that. So it might be something else for you. It could be knitting, it could be learning a musical instrument or a language or whatever it is. Just find something that will give you some inner peace and some inner calm. And I pray that everything is going to be all right. And you'll be able to tell me that, yes, you encouraged me, Ronke, with your video, and everything is all right now. I wish you success. And if it means anything to you, I love you, and God loves you more. Ronke Poshe. Bye.